welcome on in, everybody, to a WyoNation Roundup, not a pregame. We could do a pregame. It'd be very, very early pregame for what would be the next competitive fixture would be Wyoming hosting Dartmouth this weekend. But we will talk about that, among other things. But this is the WyoNation Roundup. I did not update the intro video there. So I am your host, Chad Smith. Thank you for joining us. Lots to get to this week, as it's been an action-packed couple days with news in football and basketball. So joining me today, Mr. Brad Reed.
Hey guys, and who's to say that we're not already pre-gaming?
It's true. It's true. It's a big game, right? I mean, anytime an Ivy League team comes to town,
it's weird.
You can count on a win.
It's cause, it's cause for celebration. Don't say it, Brad. We'll get there. Okay, we'll get there. And on the bottom here, Mr. Bryan Stevens. So let's start with the sport that is in season, because football, as you all know, just finished up. So let's talk about your Wyoming Cowboys basketball team. Bryan just published a blog the other day about the game at Texas Tech. So Bryan, kind of give us your thoughts of what we saw over the weekend as Wyoming went down to Lubbock and did not get blown out like they did about a year ago.
Yeah, so the improvement year over year with the basketball team is insane.
Mm-hmm.
Like, some things to note is, last year, if you were on the team, you were playing second fiddle to Obi Agman. That's all there was to it. He was one of the few D1 caliber players that was on the team.
Sure.
And if he had an off night, we lost. That's just how it went. This year, we've got like 8 or 9 scorers on the team, like 8 or 9 people that can consistently put the ball in the basket. And it would be, I would hate to scout Wyoming this year, because you look early in the year and it's like, oh, Nas Meyer's doing great, so they shut him down. And then here comes Demarion Dennis, so they shut him down. And then here comes Leland Walker, so they shut him down. And here comes Uriah Rojas. And it's just, there's nothing you can do. There's nothing you can do to stop Wyoming from scoring. And that's especially shocking because we're not a big team.
No, yeah.
This is not a tall team in the least bit, but we get like half our points in the paint. It's like 44 points per game in the paint, which for a guard-heavy team is kind of unheard of.
Yeah, like I mentioned to you, I looked up on, this was pre-Texas Tech, and it might have been during the Denver game, but I looked at the analytics site that I go to, and Wyoming is in the top 10 in the country in layup attempts. So that tells you how much we're getting to the hole.
Yeah.
And their own lanes.
The percentage could be better for sure. But that's what happens when you have a bunch of, 6 foot to 6'3" guys driving the paint.
Yeah, so it was twofold. It was we're like in the top 10 in the country in layup attempts, but we're like way below average in terms of conversion rate. So, but the volume of those shots is what's really keeping this offense clicking.
And part of the guards crashing the paint is there's a couple interesting things. Number one, Caden Bennett's our leading rebounder this year.
Yeah, wow.
He's pulling in like 4.5 boards per game.
He's a shooting guard.
Yeah, he plays the 2. Oh no, 5.3 overall rebounds per game. Belich is right behind him, but Bennett at 5.3 is crazy. Belich is right behind him. Belich is leading the way with 16 offensive rebounds this season, but Caden Bennett has 15. So one of the other effects of the guards driving the lane so much is that we've got quicker people in grabbing these long offensive rebounds. Mm-hmm. And it's interesting to see the way they do it. And it bit them a couple times at Texas Tech, but whoever's inside is tapping it out to the guards outside. And it's working very well. Alex Taylor posted some stats today. Wyoming is currently number 1 in the Mountain West in rebounding at 42.5 per game. Number 1 in the Mountain West in offensive rebounds at 14.6. Number 1 in the country at 3-point defense, 23.6. Number 2 in the conference is scoring offense at 85.1. Number 2 in scoring margin, we're winning by an average of 15.4. And number 2 in overall field goal defense, we are holding teams to 40.2%. So long story short, RP40 is working and working very well.
Sure. So I guess the question is to you, after what you saw in Lubbock, were they right? I mean, they legitimately had a chance to win the game with like 5 minutes left. So they were in it.
3 points to, going down the stretch, right? For a lot of the
they were
stretch.
within a point with like 2.5 minutes left.
Mm-hmm.
Like to a team that blew us out by 50 last year.
Yeah.
Now, granted, both teams are pretty different, but Texas Tech still got JT Toppin, who did everything he possibly could to win that game.
Mm-hmm.
Like, if he doesn't go off like the all-star that he is, they lose.
So my question to you is from what you've seen so far, is this scalable into Mountain West play if we bring this type of effort?
Absolutely. So the thing, Texas Tech was the measuring stick I was going off of this year because we played a bunch of teams that were good competition.
Bunch of slappies for the most part.
Yeah, I mean, they weren't bad. We weren't playing the dead last ranked teams in the country. Fullerton was pretty bad. But like DU beat CSU. We lost to Sam Houston because we couldn't hit a damn free throw.
Mm-hmm.
Like Texas Tech, we stayed within 4. They have gotten incrementally better every game. Since that Sam Houston game, we're shooting like 80% from the free throw stripe.
Yeah.
Like every time Sundance is mad about something, like be it a lack of efforts or a lack of free throws, or whatever he's angry at. I mean, we let who were we playing? Norfolk State. We're smoking Norfolk State in the first half, and they almost came back, and that was because of a lack of effort. And then the next game, Denver came up, and we beat the ever-loving hell out of them. And that's the team that went into CSU and beat CSU, who's a good team. So the nicest thing about this team is that they respond to coaching and they keep moving forward. They're not repeating the same mistakes twice. So I think that's very scalable to the Mountain West team play.
Sure. Great. And then one more question for you. 3-point defense. So really, how much of that is us, getting out and defending the arc, and how much of that is luck? And right, because odds would say, right, that at some point that number is going to creep up quite a bit.
I mean, it's going to have to, but if there's teams like Norfolk State shot well, they shot like 35%. Northern State shot pretty well from 3.
Oh, they did.
If you take those 2 games out, they're holding teams to like 17%.
Yeah.
From the 3-point line. That's
crazy.
An insane number.
It is. Yeah.
Is there
especially
a little bit
in modern
of luck?
college basketball too? Like everybody's just jacking up threes all game long.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
So is there a little bit of luck? Absolutely. Like the ball's going to not bounce your way a few times. But there is a lot of there's a lot of defensive pressure, which is, part of what Sundance is preaching with his RP40 philosophy. We're swapping players in and out. We've always got fresh legs, and the defense has been really, really tight.
Yeah, because he's demanding it. Because we've all seen it, right? Like if a guy takes just one play off on the defensive end, you see him flipping out on the sideline. So
yeah, we have 2 of the most elite defenders and complete players in the conference right now, and Adam Harrico and Demarion Dennis. Mm-hmm. They're both kind of streaky on the offensive end, but they are lockdown defenders. Like just keep an eye on number 1 and number 13 on Saturday when we play Dartmouth. Those guys are crazy good on defense.
Yeah, and I remember when they signed Dennis, that's what they kind of said. Like they said, he's not really good at one thing, but he's above average in pretty much everything, and then it really competes.
Yeah. Yeah, and there's a press conference tomorrow that I've got some things the last Sundance, but at the last press conference I asked him, it's like, hey, there's been a new breakout player every game. Who's it going to be? He's like, Leland's probably going to be the next guy. And since that press conference, Leland Walker's averaging like 24 points a game.
Yeah,
like he had, I think, a grand total of 18 through the first 3 or 4 games. and then he exploded. And if there's anybody that's a star on the team right now, it's Leland Walker.
Mm-hmm.
Jeez,
He's key.
Just look at some stats here. Looks like Wyoming's holding opponents to 40% shooting percentage.
Yes,
53rd in the country right now. So remarkable defensive improvement at the very least.
Yeah. Yeah, 21.6 from 3-point percentage. Yeah. Averaging, they're allowing 4 made 3-pointers a game. 4.
That's nuts. Yeah.
When teams are putting up 15 to 20, they're making 15 to 20 against lower tier opponents most of the time. I mean, you even look at like a Kansas Duke game, and both of those teams are making 8 to 12 threes. Mm-hmm. So holding teams to 4 is crazy.
Mm-hmm. No, it is. And that's why I asked you the question, because it's like, well, and right, things will adjust. But I think the 40 minutes of hell style, especially at home, I'd like to see the breakdown to see what teams are shooting from 3, let's say in the final 10 minutes of a game in Laramie. And I bet really that's where, right, when those tired legs are in, those 3-pointers, even if you're wide open with heavy legs, man, those 3-point shots are hard to make.
Yeah, they are legitimately running people out of the gym right now, which we've all been begging for, like
years,
basically since Steve Lane left. It's been 20 years that we've been begging them to just run people out of Laramie, and they're doing it, and they're doing it really well.
Well, and that's what it's going to take to beat teams like San Diego State, these teams that just move quickly and just, dominate you on every side of the paint. Like, you're going to have to run them out of the gym. Finally.
Yeah, and interestingly enough, we've got some of the higher paced teams as far as true tempo goes in the Mountain West. So like Utah State's up there, San Diego State's up there, Boise State's up there. Okay. So we've got some teams that's how they like to play. And what we've seen out of Wyoming is if a team wants to run, we're fine slowing it down. They were fine slowing Texas Tech down and running a half-court offense, and it worked pretty well.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, and that's part of coaching, right? Is especially because those teams are at this point in time more talented than us. So you kind of see it out, right? Try to run your system, but if it's apparent that it's not going to work, right? It's a good sign of coaching. So yeah, no, that's a good point.
Yeah, they're well coached up and down the floor. There have been I posted this in the blog, but there have been 4 freshmen of the week so far this year. 2 of them have been Nosmeyer, and one of them has been Gavin Gores.
Mm-hmm.
And that's not going to stop anytime soon. Watching him through 8 games so far this year, I actually think Gores is the better player. He's raw. He's got a long ways to go, but I think Gores has got more upside than Meyer does, and that's saying a lot.
That's pretty scary.
Yeah.
Yeah, and those guys are so both young, right? And they're gonna just think. I mean, I think when you look at them now compared to how they're gonna look at the end of conference play, right? By the end of that, all that experience, you're really not a freshman anymore. So Wyoming could be really dangerous if they keep incrementing here. Come March, it could be a really scary team.
Well, and what are we sitting at right now? Like, how many player of the week has Nosmeyer won already this year? Like, 4?
Well, 2 freshmen of the week. We've only had 1 player of the week, and that's
2 freshmen.
And that's Leland Walker.
Yeah.
So right. He and Nas were he was player of the week, and Nas was freshman of the week.
Yep.
This last week. So that's awesome. But pulling up Evan Maya, who does a really good job of breaking down advanced analytics. Mm-hmm. The offensive rating, Wyoming's at let's see, where's the true tempo here? The true game pace, UNLV, New Mexico, Fresno State, Utah State, and Grand Canyon all play at a faster tempo than Wyoming.
Wow.
Which is like, we're not a slow team. Like, they're running up and down the floor. I think we're averaging a ton of points a game. It's been a lot of fun to watch. Anybody that hasn't been to Laramie yet, this is a perfect weekend to go. They're going to destroy Dartmouth. You're going to get to see a lot of players play. When you get into, like you saw in the DU game, Garrett Spielman's going to play, Talon Taylor's going to play. You're going to see some of these guys that don't get off the bench much, and they're going to be able to put up some points. So it's cool to see that we're more than 7 deep. And if you're pulling the 8th guy off the bench, nobody's going, oh God, what now? It's, maybe Jared Harris doesn't come off the bench for a game and he comes in the next game and he drops 18. Maybe Keeney Saxon doesn't come off the bench one game and he comes in and has 3 blocks the next game. Like, the bench is deep and we're using everybody, and everybody's got a little bit of a different skill set. So Sonny did a hell of a job putting this roster together.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. I mean, he completely rebuilt it again. And this version, he had a little bit more recruiting time this time around, and it paid off for sure.
Yeah. And there are some people that were angry about the schedule, but when you really break down the schedule, it's pretty advantageous. We're not playing Mountain West caliber teams. No, because you don't want to get the shit kicked out of you before conference play starts.
Yeah.
Look at where UNLV's sitting right now. They played in that Players Era Championship.
Mm-hmm.
They got destroyed. They belong nowhere near that tournament. Like, if you looked at the Ken Palms, everybody was top 30 except for UNLV, which was like 110.
Did they get in because it was in Vegas or something?
I'm sure that was part of it.
Yeah. Was it played in Vegas?
It was played all over Vegas. It was like 4 or 5 different arenas.
That was the $1 million a team tournament.
Wow.
Or what was it? $1 million winner. That's what it was, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, I think each game they split up like 25 grand or something like that. Or each team got $1 million being in there, and then if you advanced to the finals, you got another $1 million, and then the winner got $2 million to split up among the players, not the team itself. That goes straight to the players.
Oh, wow.
It was wild.
So
it was kind of funny being in Vegas for that, because it was the first time I've ever seen Syracuse fans in the wild.
Oh, there you go.
Yeah, they don't make it up this direction very often.
No, it's like, oh, Syracuse actually has like people that are fans of them. That's wild.
Basketball school. Yeah.
Yeah.
That's funny. So, all right, we'll take this little point to say, welcome on in, everybody, for some basketball talk. Of course, head on over to WyoNation.com for all your basketball news, our blogs. There, Bryan's doing blogs. We post these replays of the shows there as well. And then, of course, the #1 feature of the website is the message board. Be a part of the community of Wyoming fans, talking about all the stuff that we do here on the show. So a lot of good content on the forum, and, a lot of annoying people too, but we welcome them all the same. Yes. One of them is the site owner and the admin. He's the worst.
But remember, this is a site for you guys. This is a fan site. Like, we don't get paid for this. I mean, Brad might make a cup enough to buy a 12-pack every now and again, but we're doing this because
impressions just don't pay off, man.
Right? So we're doing this because we're fans like you guys are, and we're dumb enough to get on camera and let everybody see our faces.
True.
Yeah. And we apologize for that.
Yeah. Profusely. So if you're here on the channel, make sure to subscribe so you know when we're on air. Hit the bell, and of course, we like to see your comments. Gives those thumb up. So do all that to make us know that you like the content and you want more of this basketball talk, which now that the team is looking a lot better, I think we'll be right. Usually during basketball season, it's kind of a tumbleweed season, but it won't be this year because, as we said, this basketball team is really fun to watch. So, let's talk about Dartmouth here really quick. Bryan, what do we know about them? They're coming in 2 p.m. at the AA. And then Brad and I have something that we discovered about them, non-basketball related, but funny all the less.
Honestly, I haven't looked into Dartmouth too much.
Okay.
Oh, I got to travel for my real job next week, but I mean, right now in the net, they're 290.
Okay.
It looks like the only game, like, they've played some pretty bad teams and aren't really doing very well. Like, they played nothing but quad 3, quad 4, and non-D1 teams. So
Oof.
Lost to Marist, Bryant, and Appalachian State. They beat Maine Augusta. They beat St. Pete's,
The Peacocks.
the Cinderella team from a
Yeah.
couple of years ago,
Lost all their players to
who are
NIL, I'm
not
sure.
good anymore.
Yeah.
And they beat New Hampshire. So the best team they played so far is Marist, and they got beat by 20 points. So
Okay.
I don't expect this will be a close game.
Sure. And then
Especially coming west too.
because we didn't mention it.
Their next two games, Saturday they're in Laramie, and Tuesday they're in Fort Collins. And those are both quad 1 games, and I expect that it's not going to be pretty.
Yeah.
Yep.
And so Wyoming is 59th in the first net ratings, correct?
Yep.
Is that right?
Yeah, well, they were
58.
57th and they dropped to 58th.
Yep.
Okay. Gotcha. So really
They're-
that's a lot higher than I would think, especially with our schedule. So again, these things are interesting. So the good news is, right, if we keep winning in the Mountain West, we're going to keep a pretty high number.
Yeah. I was going to say Ken Palm's got his rankings out too, and they're like 108 in the Ken Palm right now too.
Which, I mean, if you're sniffing the top 100, you're a good team.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. All right. Drew's in the house, and he's got a question for you, Brian, I guess. What's the current difference between Wyoming and, say, New Mexico or UNLV?
Ego. Wyoming doesn't have it, like, at all. And I'm being serious too.
Yeah.
Like, New Mexico's got guys that got paid. UNLV's got guys that got paid. They think they're hot shit. Wyoming doesn't have any of that. They've got guys that are here to win. They're here to play hard, and they're not afraid to get their hands dirty. And frankly, that's what people around here like to see too. So talent-wise, we're probably not nearly the most talented team in the Mountain West by far. But I very much doubt there's anybody that's ever going to play as hard as you'll see Wyoming play this year.
If you're looking at pure rankings, though, just take a stab at what UNLV is in the net rankings.
Oh, I think I saw it earlier today. They're like 180 something.
That would be good for them. 218.
218.
218 in the first net rankings. In New Mexico.
And again, that's because they've got absolutely smoked in the Players' Championship by very good teams.
Oh, actually, I was looking for New Mexico, but I pulled up New Mexico State instead. New Mexico's at 122. So 1-0 in the quad 3 wins and 4-0 in the quad 4 wins.
Yeah. So UNLV, everybody was talking about, well, why can't we schedule like that? Well, they got just destroyed by good teams.
Yeah. You don't want to do
first that. They lost to UT Martin
Mm.
because they thought it was a tune-up game and didn't take them seriously.
Oof.
They did end up beating Memphis, which is a good win in Memphis too. And then Maryland beat them by 7. Alabama beat them by 40. Alabama beat them by 40, and Rutgers beat them by 15. And
Look
Rutgers is not a great team.
I was going to say, look how much Montana beat them by.
Yeah. Montana beat them by what? 9. Montana only beat them by 9.
Mm-hmm.
But I mean, their losses are to in the net 141, 189, 171, 190, and 13 being Alabama.
Not good.
Yeah, we'll see. Well, I mean, we'll get our shot at them, right? So let's see how we stack up.
I would much rather be a team that has, lost a road game that maybe they shouldn't, played a top 20 team very well and had a chance to win it, than a team that tries to play the top competition when they're not ready and just gets absolutely destroyed, and it messes with their heads.
Yeah. No, I agree. It is, you got to build a schedule to build confidence into your players.
Especially like a really new cobbled together team too. Like, got to give these guys time to gel together before conference play. So
yeah, so the schedule I think has hit a perfect rhythm. So yeah,
Say,
Dartmouth.
and a team like Norfolk that we should have ran away with, and they slipped up and still won the game. That's a game you can teach a lot of things about. It's like, hey, I'm glad we won, but what the hell were you doing?
Yeah, it's better to learn.
Clearly, that message got through.
Yep. Better to learn in a win than in a loss, for sure. So I was making a graphic for the Dartmouth post game, which I'll be doing this weekend. And right, so usually, I do the mascots doing something. And I found out that, guess what? Dartmouth is like the only school I've ever heard of that don't have an official mascot. So guess what their students have done? They've made an unofficial one. And so take a guess. Brad knows already, but I'll give you one guess, Brian. What do you think is the unofficial mascot of the Dartmouth Mean Green or the Big Green or whatever the heck they are, something green?
The Big Green, I would say it's probably it's one of two things. It's either a tree or it's like a monster like Western Kentucky has.
No. It is actually somebody called Keggy the Keg.
That's amazing.
Their mascot is a keg.
Well done.
Yes.
Well done.
So I was surprised at this too. So you'll see in the post-game show graphic, I've got Pistol Pete standing next to a keg with a green hat on it.
I love it.
Keggy the Keg. So look it up. It's real. Keggy the Keg. And go Dartmouth.
What's funny about Keggy the Keg is I'm almost positive, and this is going way back, I'm almost positive that that's like the banner header for Kegs and Eggs' Twitter handle.
I think it is.
Oh, I think you're right.
It's either like his avatar or his Twitter handle or the banner itself. If I remember right.
More than likely.
If you follow Kegs and Eggs on Twitter.
Yeah. So Dartmouth, the Kegs. I like it. Let's run the Kegs out of the gym. And then I know shortly after that,
we Kegs too hard.
Yeah. Very much so, perhaps. So, okay, let's see what else here. So Bryan tomorrow will be jumping on the Sundance Wicks press conference. And supposedly right after, and hopefully you'll be able to stay on, Tom Berman will be speaking tomorrow, which could be quite interesting.
Yeah, I haven't received a link for that yet. I know it's happening, but I'll reach out. I don't know.
Yeah, I think it's the same link. I've been told that it's going to happen right after Sundances. So hopefully they will allow you to stay on and listen to that.
Yeah. I mean, they won't kick me off if I'm on the stream. Like we've built a pretty good relationship with UW.
Yeah, of course. So no, it's good that they do that.
Say the press release doesn't just has the Zoom for Sundances, so I'd probably keep it open for the following.
Yeah.
And as a reminder, I do post notes from all of Sundance's press conferences on the board. We've got a thread for that, so feel free to, if there's anything else we need to know or anything that you want us to ask, just let us know. We're happy to.
Austin, I would say no. I think this is just right. At most schools, the athletic director talks publicly pretty often. Tom Berman gets away with talking maybe twice a year.
And usually to a podcast like that nobody's watching.
Oh, true. I mean, I was
like
actually I am surprised. I was going to joke. I was going to joke that we'll probably hear him on the Thorburn podcast. But no, he actually is meeting with the media, and I'm sure it's because we're coming off a very bad football season. And he's the one who's accountable for all this. So he's got to come up and answer the tough questions. Now, he's not going to answer them seriously. We know that. Because, right, you're not going to hear anything that's going to be groundbreaking, but he owes it to the state of Wyoming and the university to come out.
Mm-hmm.
There's going to be a lot of talk about how bad the football season was and how he's got, faith in Jay Sauvel, and he's probably going to be pumping up Sundance for doing really well, and talking about how the Cowgirls volleyball team finally made the tournaments. Like he's got a lot of programs under him, but clearly football is the one that drives the bus, and there's no other way to put it. It was bad this year.
We're quite aware of this, Drew.
Yeah.
So again, that goes to the dysfunction. So a lot of people. So this is a good segue, right? A lot of people have been asking me, well, how is Savell still in charge? We got to fire him. And I go, no. The coaching cycle this time around is insane, and you don't want anything near it. Now, granted, next year probably won't be better. I think we're probably seeing the new normal. So any year is going to be tough. But at the same time, you can't fire your football coach and let Tom Berman replace him, because the reason we're in the mess we're in is because of Tom Berman. So
it's Cody Tucker and Jared Newland were talking about this on the Roaring Repeater podcast. Like, no football coach hires more than like one or two football coaches.
Oh, you mean AD?
Yeah. No AD hires more than one or two football coaches. Like, if you screw up on two, you're gone.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Berman's had a longer leash than anybody in the country.
He screwed up on 2 football coaches and 2 basketball coaches, which is unheard of. And that's being nice. I mean, probably more than
the good one he hired as a 500 coach. Don't get me wrong. Stabilized things in Wyoming. We had a little pride that has since been dashed. But he hasn't had a good run. He's done well at improving facilities and fundraising, but at the end of the day, if you ask me, an athletic director's job is to make sure that we put the teams in a position to be competitive, and frankly, we're not.
Yeah. So we're going to need alignment. So I talked about this on the pregame show, or maybe the postgame show after Nevada. Was basically we're waiting for alignment. We need so usually how things work is a university president will hire the AD, and AD hires a football coach. So what has to happen is, right now we have a lame duck president. I think we're going to have a new one either right after the academic year or early summer. That person's going to have a chance to evaluate the AD. There's rumors that Berman could retire at the end of this year because he doesn't like the NIL and stuff. Again, just rumors. But
none of them substantiated. We know nothing you guys don't know.
I've heard smoke from people, but nobody, right, that I can 100% say they're in the know, right? So we're just kind of waiting for these dominoes to fall to say, hey, is Berman going to leave on his own? Will a new president come in and say, hey, I want to set a mark my own way? I just really hope that they hire a savvy president who's pro athletics, because Wyoming needs that leadership. We haven't had a president since, I think, Buchanan, who took an interest in athletics. So you kind of need leadership at all levels to align, and you need a new president who's going to decide who the AD is. My guess is you're going to get a new AD in the next couple years, and then the new AD, if he came in, let's say this summer, would give Savell this football season, right, to sort things out. So really, that's kind of what we're facing, is everything to align. And then you can go into a brand new cycle with new leadership at each level. Drew says, just wait till Gloria's presser and announce with the new contract in the new Mountain West, which is you're still saying spring. Right, Drew?
Surprising that we haven't heard a whole lot on the Mountain West alignment and whatnot lately.
Yeah, well,
hey, it could be worse. You could be talking about how great it is that you're with the CW and USA and not talking about the numbers, which is pretty telling.
Sure.
Listen, the CW just appeared on my Hulu Live like 2 weeks ago. I didn't have it before, apparently. And
well, you got it now.
So I am
I get it on
ready
antenna
to watch
in Cheyenne.
some Colorado State football.
Yeah, it's like what, 5.3, channel 5.3 in Cheyenne or something like that. If you use an antenna.
Wow.
Yeah, spring of 26. So
yep.
Drew and I have talked a little about this. So yeah, we'll see what that looks like when it gets announced. But yeah, so that's where we're at. So we'll see. So stay tuned to Bryan's feed tomorrow for Sundance Wicks, and then hopefully some Tom Berman stuff. But to segue into football, today was early signing day. I had the opportunity to sit in on the call, which was great because pretty much every other football press conference is in person only. So I appreciate UW allowing a Zoom call to be able to monitor that and hear what coach had to say, and a lot of news. So we can get into it. Do we want to talk briefly about this class who signed? Say yes.
Yeah, might as well.
We will. Here's it. So they signed 20 players. Here they are. Here, 10 on offense, 10 on defense. Perfectly symmetrical. One of them signed later today. It was this offensive lineman out of Missouri, Piercy.
Yep.
He was the late signer.
He was deciding if he was going to play baseball or football. And how terrifying would it be to see a 305-pound baseball player?
Where does he
coming
play?
down the base path?
He must be a DH. Yeah, he must be like a Prince Fielder, Cecil Fielder type
Matt
of power,
Stairs.
Schwarber power hitter. Yeah. I'm gonna have to look up his baseball stats now to see like, whoa, what is he doing?
He probably plays like first base and just stands there with his glove in the air and just is the whole radius of the catching circle there.
Probably. But as you can see, a good mix of players. And I will note all high school players, no JUCOs, signed in this class. These 20 high school players are the only ones that are going to sign from the high school ranks, according to Savell. He's done looking for additional players. So you can see a good group. Wyoming's recruiting nationally, like we always do. So this cycle kind of hit on Missouri, Texas, Colorado, Wyoming there, and a good mix of positions too. And he noted that in the past they've neglected positions, and the big one he pointed out was tight end, right? And so he said from now on we have to make sure that we're hitting right, we're recruiting people at each position, because with the portal and injuries, right, if you skip a class in a certain position, and again he mentioned tight end, think how thin we were at tight end this year. Mm-hmm. So I think
it wasn't because we didn't have tight ends. We just had tight ends that got hurt.
Yeah, well, sure, but they didn't have any depth. I mean, and they didn't have enough tight ends on the roster. That's a fact, right? So, again,
you guys aren't going to believe this.
What?
Jonathan Piercy's a pitcher.
What?
I believe that.
He's a left-handed. He's a left-handed pitcher that throws a 78-mile-an-hour fastball.
Okay, interesting. I think he made the right choice then of playing football. Wow, man, there's some big guys. I mean, like Jonathan, I remember the Dodgers had a closer who weighed probably 300 pounds. His name was Jonathan Broxton.
Oh, yeah.
Jonathan Broxton.
He was a big guy.
And I actually ran into him once. I went to, just odd. I went to like at midnight, like after I'm a Dodgers fan. So they were playing the Rays, and I went into St. Pete to go like some diner, like to get like a cheeseburger after the game. And bam, he was there eating with his family. A large man. I'm like, I couldn't imagine getting in the batter's box with that dude on the mound. But anyway, that's crazy. So Piercy is a pitcher. Cool.
Yeah, and first base, but pitches too. Because in high school, you got to do it all, right?
Looking at a few of these guys, there are a few guys that are going to be able to play like right away.
Yes.
Xavier Jackson right there.
Yeah. So
Xavier Jackson is one that Savell specifically called out on. If it wasn't for the transfer portal and other schools recruiting less in high school, we don't get a guy like Xavier Jackson.
Yeah. So let me go over a couple of those notes. All right. So the first thing he did point out is that they intentionally recruited players with physicality and size, thinking that, right, if you're of D1 size already, you're going to get onto the field quicker. So you can see here, pretty much all these guys are, almost prototypical sizes already for their positions. Because remember, in the past, we've been bringing in offensive linemen and defensive linemen who weighed like 220.
Mm-hmm.
And we knew that it was going to take a good 2 or 3 years to get weight on them before they were ready to play. So again, size was key. And again, as Bryan said, he did mention very much so that with the Power 5 schools pretty much, or the Power 4, looking at the portal as their main round, that kind of makes a trickle-down effect where it allows us to access better high schoolers. And I think you're seeing that here. And I think pretty much every guy we signed today was a 3-star prospect by some recruiting system. So again, that's unheard of at Wyoming. And I did look the past few years, it's actually been that way. A lot of 3-star guys, where in the past, right, we would sign maybe like 3 to 5 a year.
And every single one of these players have multiple D1 offers, like D1 FBS offers.
Well, looking at Jackson Garrett right there, I was reading earlier that, he had offers from, what was it like, or like UNLV and Boise or something, or no, it was Montana. He had offers from like, 2 or 3 schools and decided Wyoming is home because, being a Cheyenne guy and all. So stayed home. And
I ref high school football. He is a giant kid. Good.
290
Lord.
pounds.
Yeah, he is. He's raw. He's got a ways to go. He's a guy you might see play next year, but he could benefit from a red shirt. But he's physically ready, that's for sure.
Yeah, so
Little
6'3",
summer in the weight room
290. I think in high school he was mainly, or other teams were recruiting him mainly as a defensive lineman, and I think that probably was his best position in high school. But they are switching him to tackle. That's what they have announced him as. So
Wow.
interesting
one that
there.
kinda-
But he has size at 6'3", 290. You could always flip inside. 6'3" is kind of short. it's kind of crazy to say, but for a tackle these days, right?
Mhm.
Usually they're taller than that. So we'll see how he develops. And then the other one, of course, is another Wyoming kid, Beck Caswell, 6'3", 210. So he is maybe on, right? He probably needs to put on a little weight to play D end, obviously. But
hey, there's another guy that was tall and skinny that came in. I believe Carl Granderson was like 6'6", 180 when he came to Laramie. He ended up all right.
yeah, playing in the NFL still, I do believe.
Yep. With the Saints.
Starting for the Saints. He's doing pretty damn good.
Yeah.
So Haswell's comes from that winning program in Sheridan, of course. And so good to see that Wyoming had 2 3-star high school players ranked by the recruiting services, which is, pretty much unheard of. I don't think I can remember another year where we had multiple 3-star kids.
And one thing to note on this, if you look at a guy like Taylor Hasselbeck, they're not just recruiting 6'5", 240-pound guys anymore. Like Taylor Hasselbeck, 6'2", 180. Like,
yep.
That's smaller than the quarterbacks we typically see. And as Cody and Jared said earlier today, those are the best performing quarterbacks you're seeing at the FCS level right now because they got overlooked. They play with shoulders.
Look at a guy like John Mateer, who's not a very big guy.
Yeah, you don't have to be big. For sure. Hasselbeck's only other offer was from either Eastern Michigan or Western Michigan. I can't remember. One of those two. I think Eastern, actually. I remember it. So, again, interesting. They did mention that he got on their radar because of former OC Jay Johnson had some contacts down in Nashville. So he's the one who found Hasselbeck.
And the last quarterback we had that only had offers from Wyoming and Eastern Michigan turned out all right.
That's true. That's right. I mean, we would take that, wouldn't we? True, that is. I'm surprised nobody mentioned that. So what Hasselbeck, future NFL MVP confirmed, right?
I don't know if I'd take it that far. I'd just say it's not a bad thing.
He's got the pedigree to at least be an NFL quarterback.
Yes, well, his uncle and his dad, right?
They were famously journeymen, but they collected checks for a decade each. So
yeah,
that's actually one of the best jobs in the world.
It is
backup quarterback.
Like I know Brad is a big fan of Chase Daniel, right? Because he's just like, man, that was the life right there for him.
I think he just retired, right?
He did, yeah. I mean, making like $5 million a year as a backup quarterback for like.
Yeah, well, and think about a guy like Jim Sorge who just sat behind Peyton Manning for 12 years in Indianapolis and cleaned up, man.
Well, geez, look at. Well, I mean, the money's a lot different now than it was back then. But look at Gary Kubiak. He sat behind John Elway for years.
Yeah.
Or Jason Garrett, the same thing. Sat behind Troy Aikman.
Yeah.
Never had to do anything. Perfect.
Let's see.
Matt Hasselbeck did start for a long time. I think he was the Seahawk quarterback in the Super Bowl, right?
Yeah, he was.
Yeah. So
when they had Marshawn Lynch, like Matt Hasselbeck and Ty Detmer were the 2 quarterbacks that were like, I don't know how this team made it to the Super Bowl. It sure as hell wasn't because of quarterback play.
Yeah. Well, they had Marshawn too, so that helped.
Yeah.
But one of the interesting names I see on here is Kanye Anderson, a 6'1" cornerback. Like, having a cornerback with a little bit of height on him, I mean, that'll be extremely helpful. You look at the other corners they recruited. 5'11", 5'10". So having a guy with a little bit of height back there, always a good thing.
Yeah, and they're hard to find.
Yep.
I do believe that he was committed to an FCS school, and then in Texas, and then flipped to Wyoming, if I remember Twitter.
Yeah.
From earlier in the day.
Said he had offers from New Mexico, Missouri State, and Sam Houston State.
Okay.
With 2 of those 3 just moved up from FCS to FBS. So
yeah. So yeah, a very varied class. So we'll see. Again, we don't know, but right for Wyoming to have long-term success, they are going to have to focus right on bringing in high school players and developing them. And if they leave, right, if they have a couple good years and then hit the portal, that's not the worst thing in the world, because you can say, hey, come here, we'll teach you up, and we'll get you to the big time football.
And that's really a point we need to make.
To be in.
That's really a point we need to make too, is like the days of seeing a guy build up from a redshirt freshman to graduating as an all Mountain West performer, like a Frank Crum, those days are gone. Like if you get a guy that's performing at an all Mountain West level for 2 years, say like a Chris Durr, they're gone. They're going to get paid by someone else. And that's fine, as long as you can backfill and make sure that you're using the portal to your advantage just as well as those other teams are. Because for every Chris Durr we lose, there's a Michael Fitzgerald that comes in that came on pretty well towards the end of the year. You got to find the right guys.
So yeah, so that's another good segue here. We will talk about the portal and then what's next for Wyoming football. Jay Sawvell did talk quite a bit about that, so I've got some good notes here we'll talk about. But speaking of Chris Durr, as you all know, the portal does not open until January 2nd, but it has been being reported that he has the intention of entering the portal, as well as Teron Kelman made that announcement as well. Jay Sawvell today said one of those guys we wanted to keep and the other we didn't. So you can put 2 and 2 together there on who fell into which bucket.
I mean, both talented players too.
Sure.
Yeah, I appreciated both of them. Chris Durr was our leading receiver.
Yeah.
Kelman had that
TD,
crazy game winner against San Jose State. That was probably one of the most impressive runs I've seen since Bryan Hill left. Like they're good players, and we appreciate being able to cheer for them this year. But this is the reality of college football now, guys. We can talk about the good old days all you want. They ain't coming back.
No. The genie's out of the bottle, and the bottle's been smashed to a million pieces. So, we'll talk about that portal-wise. He did talk about his plan. Pretty much the offense needs a complete rebuild. And so we've heard this before, right? I mean, Bowl talked about it, 3 or 4 times before he got it right. We should have all known that Bowl was going to retire when we had a competent offense that last year. That should have been the red flag. He went YOLO. Think if Craig Bowl would have went YOLO sooner, what we could have accomplished. It's kind of sad to think, but we didn't do anything until we had Peasley, and then Polasek. That was Polasek's first year, right?
Something like that. Yeah.
And you know what Peasley? I got to give more credit to Cody and Jared on this. You know what Peasley had that a lot of our other quarterbacks haven't? He had a chip because he was a small guy.
Sure.
Like, small for a quarterback.
Yeah.
Still, they listed him at 6'2". He was probably closer to 6 foot. The guy played his ass off because he had something to prove.
100%.
Those are the kind of guys that we need.
100%. Yeah. I don't think anybody, I mean, some people did, right? I mean, I got a little annoyed with him on his mechanics because he would throw off his back foot a lot, and then he would miss wide open guys with bad mechanics. But he made up for it because he was an absolute gamer. An absolute gamer of a quarterback. So, and that's what they're kind of looking for going forward, is more of a dual threat type of runner, and you have to have it in college football. So they want to recruit out of the transfer portal a dual threat quarterback, and then they pretty much want everything else on the offense. They want a running back, they want a couple wide receivers, they want a tight end, they want some offensive linemen.
Yep.
And the word is a rework of the offense, which is like, right, Craig Bowl had his rebuild and his re-engineering. So the problem is we've heard this before, time after time after time, but we've only really seen it work once. And again, that was in Bowles last year. So again, we knew that the offense needed reworked this offseason, and it didn't work. So I guess my fear is if Savell knew how to fix it, I think it would have been, you'd have seen some sign of it being fixed by now.
I'm going to give him credit because he said last year, I have to rework the defense, and he did.
True.
The defense was phenomenal this year.
Mm-hmm.
If he can rework the offense half as well as he did the defense last year, we're going to be happy.
Yeah, I would agree. But we'll see. I don't know if he could pull it off. We'll see, right? He says he has a plan and they're going to implement the plan, and we'll see. Because in the end, right, he has to do it because this is his career is on the line. He doesn't get this right with a new president coming in and maybe a new AD. He has to win next year. And then if he wants to have any shot at, even being a high-level defensive coordinator in the future. So there's a lot on the line for him and the program next year.
If he doesn't get this right next year, this is the last time he will ever be a head coach at the FBS level.
Oh yeah, 100%.
The last time, and he knows that.
Mm-hmm. So we'll see. We'll see what they do. The portal is going to be key. Coming on the second there, he is, as I said, they got a plan. He listed all the positions, so they're pretty much going to take every position on offense. They're looking to add at least one person to the room. On defense, they're looking for just 4 guys to come in to supplement 2 defensive linemen, and then a safety, and then he said the best available defensive back. So it could be a corner or a safety. So 2 linemen, 2 safeties, and I think the lineman he did mention mainly defensive end, I want to say.
Yeah. Hey, throw that last comment up from Drew.
Which one? This one right here?
Yeah. So another thing to remember about this.
I know.
He can talk him into going after Allen. And remember how we got Andrew Peasley? He put out a help wanted poster. And he was begging people to come to Laramie.
I know.
Peasley came in and kicked ass.
Yeah. I mean, Bull didn't go after him immediately, and he didn't play him immediately. Remember, Josh Allen only played initially because of an injury.
It was Cam Kaufman that got hurt, right? Or was it somebody else?
I can't remember if it was Kaufman or not.
I think it was either Kaufman or Kierkegaard.
Yeah, one of the two got hurt, and that's the only reason he played. So, again, to talk about like Craig Bowl or Vegan, the quarterback whisperer, I don't buy it. But that's not here nor there. Let's talk really quick before we talk about coaching changes. The quarterback position, because Saturday in Honolulu was the first time we got to see Mason Drube on the field. And although he didn't look right, we didn't score points offensively, which is disappointing. But I think we saw enough of him being thrown into the fire on a road game to show that, right, he has the tools to be a Division I quarterback, but we obviously can't rely on him next year. And Savell can't with his job on the line. So your thoughts on Drew?
The thing I loved is he wasn't sailing footballs 10 yards over people's head every time he tried to freaking pass it.
No, that's pretty nice.
Like, did he make bad throws? Absolutely. Like he was thrown into coverage. He took that brutal sack.
Oh, he got absolutely jacked up. Yeah.
I think my text to Chad was, I think he might be dead.
Yeah. And again,
I think that was in the group chat.
And again, they were rolling him left. I don't understand rolling your quarterback left. Why we have I don't see teams do it, but Wyoming does it 2 or 3 times a game.
But at the same time, we did see him make some throws on the run that were just absolute dimes, like ridiculously good throws.
I
on the
I
run.
I put on X that one that he floated out to Charlie Conan that got like a 40-yard gain.
Mhm.
I there's not a snowball's chance in hell that Caden Anderson makes that throw ever.
Yeah.
He doesn't see it, and being able to put that much touch on the ball, we have not seen that from Caden.
Yeah. So, I mean, Drew, I think, has got a lot of potential, but the problem is, right, he needs time to develop. And in this day and age, you don't know if he's going to be patient enough to stick around and develop.
Well, he's got a whole offseason ahead of him, because I doubt that there'll be a lot of people knocking on the door after, a half a start.
Oh, no, of course. I'm not saying he's
So,
leaving. I'm just saying, that future-wise, I mean, he needs a lot of work, but he has the tools. And the biggest thing right there is, again, he's not a runner, but he's mobile. He's athletic and mobile enough, unlike Caden, to be able to move around the pocket, get outside the pocket.
He can run.
Get away from pressure.
Yeah. And that's the key, right? Is all you need. You need to be able to just evade. And poor Anderson, his knees are just so beat up, and he's taking such a beating. I mean, he falls down,
He's taking some big hits.
Yeah. So I don't blame him.
For all the shit that we gave Caden Anderson this year, the guy got his ass kicked every single game. I'd be gun shy too.
He's tough.
I'd be throwing off my back foot too, because when you get hit that many times, you just don't want to get hit anymore.
That's always kind of the thing that I've thought about Anderson all season is I don't think he's a bad quarterback. I think he's just an extremely gun-shy quarterback, because he's just been beaten to hell, and he's just like, I don't want to get hit anymore, that kind of thing. And he's going to tough it out and ride it through. But I think there's a lot of him that was just like, I've gotten the hell beat out of me. I don't want to get hit again.
Exactly. So Wyoming scores no points, and so that'll bring us to the coaching news that JSFL confirmed today. Javon Bonight will be moving back to his wide receiver coach position. He will not be the OC going forward. And of course, Javon Bonight is completely fine with that. They had the discussion about that. And Javon's going to go back to his wide receiver coaching, where we saw them improve a lot this year. So that's,
he had a shot at OC. Like, they gave him a good shot at it. And after CSU, we thought, hey, maybe this will work. And then we didn't.
No, we just found out that CSU was a really, 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 really bad football team.
May it continue to happen for the rest of time.
Yes. So JSFL's hunt for an offensive coordinator is ongoing. He told us today that he's already held phone conversations, I guess phone interviews with people. He is going to, this week, I think sometime, go visit a prospective candidate and talk to him in person. And then next week, another candidate will be coming to Laramie for talks. So I would say that if one of these two first people he's talking to in person pan out, wouldn't surprise me if we have somebody named within the next 2 weeks for sure.
I mean,
we've got to get somebody in before Christmas. Portal opens on January 2nd. You got to have somebody in there to talk to the offensive players, to say, this is 100%. What I'm going to do. This is how I'm going to use you. Yeah. And you have to have somebody in there to talk to portal players and say, this is why we need you.
Mm-hmm. So yeah, it'll 100%. No one asked him, but it'll 100% be done. And the sooner the better, but he has to get this right, because this is his last chance to get the offense going. He's not going to get another chance. If we rank again, in the below 100, I would say, in total offense and scoring offense, it's not going to work out well for Mr. JSFL. So
Chad Morris is still hanging out there.
We'll see. I don't know who he's going to get. Now, he did say what he wanted, so this is quite interesting. And this was music to my ears, is that he wants to get back to a running-based offense. He said his goal was to get us back above 200 rushing yards per game using a varied rushing style, right? Varied, a versatile run game, sorry. Saying that
AKA more than just halfback dive.
Yeah.
Left, halfback dive, right.
Exactly. He said, we're just not going to line up in two tight ends and run the ball up the middle. He talked about running left, doing different concepts, right, to get pulling linemen, to get space and to work angles, to get running yards. And that's when Wyoming was at their best, right? It was varied. You had inside runs, outside runs. When Wyoming was bad, it truly was run up the middle twice and then chuck up a third down prayer.
Well, I mean, so that rules out Chad Morris then probably.
Yeah. Yes. More. So we'll see who fits that profile. And I agree with this profile, right? And again, this is where Craig Bowl got it wrong, right? He kept saying, oh, everybody wants us to throw it. No, we want you to run the ball. And when you run the ball as well as Wyoming did under him, it should make it easier to throw the ball, not harder. And I think
it's like I told Chad in the group chat today. It's not about the play calling. We were like 50-50 run pass this year. Yeah. It's about our yards per completion and yards per rush. We're within a yard of each other. That's a problem. Your yards per completion should be hovering around 8, and your yards per rush should be hovering around 5. And it shouldn't be identical.
Well, I mean, if we were rushing for 8 yards, 10 yards a carry, that'd be cool. But
yeah, but we weren't.
So
it's good to see that that's his vision, right? Getting back to kind of the Craig Bowl vision of running the ball effectively and then passing the ball when you have to. And I think that's what they're going to do. So now the question is, I don't know who would be willing, right? Because the elephant in the room is you come and take this job and it doesn't go well, you're getting fired with everybody else. So that's going to kind of limit who you can get and the quality you can get. So I'm going to be very interested to see. These names will come out. I know the media, I'm sure they're hunting it down already. We'll see how long.
That's how you end up with Jay Johnson, who, by the way, left the team after San Diego State. No longer on staff after we got beat up by the Aztecs.
Mm-hmm. No, they did ask that on the call today. And
I'm trying to think, like, if he wants that kind of offense. And I did see that Chad Morris was last with Texas State, and Texas State did run for 220 a game.
All right.
I mean, he was a wide receiver coach, not the offensive coordinator, but they were running for 220 a game. So I was just trying to think of like what like offenses would be comparable to what he envisions. Look at UNLV. UNLV ran for over
thanks, Drew
200 yards a game. So
yeah. So again, he was very open and honest about his plan. He says, "Hey, we have a plan, and basically now we have to go execute it to fix this." So we'll see. Again, I don't know. I'm skeptical, but I was skeptical of the defense rebuild. Now, obviously, he knows defense, so I guess we'll have to see who this name is, right? Because basically, he's going to have to hire this guy, kind of give him the parameters, but let the guy do his job, right, and coach the damn offense.
Yep.
And not say one name that Cody and Jared talked about on their pod this week was Mike Yursich. He's the OC at Youngstown State currently. His stops before that were Penn State, Texas, and Oklahoma State, where he was quarterback coach and offensive coordinator at all 3 of those stops.
And if you watched Youngstown State on Saturday, I'm sure they're ready to run their offensive coordinator out the door after giving up like a 20 or 30 point lead to Yale.
Yeah. I
got to tell you guys, watching football all day Friday and Saturday, like college football, was so awesome. I don't think I left my couch or chair. Like, I just watched football for like 12 hours each day.
You just remember that when March rolls around and I'm at every basketball game at the Mountain West tournament. Same thing.
It's amazing.
All right, let's see here. Hope that we had more comments, but we don't. So yeah, I think that's pretty much all the notes I had. So again, a good press conference today from Jay Salvell. A lot of good information, and now we'll see how quick this process moves. And again, there's really no time. They just need somebody in before the second. I would agree with you, Bryan. It needs to be done before Christmas, obviously. So they have a week to prepare, but I think you'll be done before that. I would say by the 17th, which is 2 weeks from now.
I would bet they have an offer out to somebody before the weekend.
Yeah. Perhaps.
I'm dead serious.
Well,
before Monday at least.
Well, he's not going to go see the the other person's not coming until Laramie until next week,
Mm.
which we don't know when that is, right? So
Yeah, but they're gonna have to start putting their, I guess, whiteboard together for the second recruiting, for the second signing day. So
yeah, and they're on
if
top
there's
of that.
anybody left to sign it, they'll be looking, obviously, but
They're on top of that. They know who's going to kind
Yeah.
of be in the portal. Every team.
but
We're gonna lose more people. It's
Yep.
okay.
Yeah.
It's gonna happen every year. Get used to it.
the crazy thing is, though, is typically after the first game, you see that whole, you see the everybody that wants to go is going to go, right? And and we're at late Wednesday right now, and we've only seen 2 names so far. There'll inevitably be more, but as they wrap up, like postseason, player interviews and whatnot, and evaluations. But typically, and I was surprised to see this like Sunday morning, Monday morning, that we just didn't see like a gob of players hit the portal like we did last year.
Or the year that we saw Isaiah Nair and Levi Williams declare like directly after the game.
Yep.
Yeah.
After the bowl game. Like, I don't even know if they had their pads off.
Probably
Yeah.
not.
I think they
had
probably had it scheduled tweets.
Scheduled tweets, yeah. I hope the game's over by now.
But yeah, no, to get back on to your point there, Bryan, is Wyoming's kind of we're in an interesting point with the portal, especially in offense, because we can't be upset at too many of these players leaving on offense because they're part of a terrible offense. But at the same time, someone like Chris Durr is obviously someone with a lot of talent. So I guess the proof in the pudding, we'll see where these guys end up, right? Because as we know in the past, a lot of these guys, they hit the portal and they don't find a landing spot as good as Wyoming.
And it's not just the Wyomings of the world. You're going to see
Every
a ton of
school
players transfer out of Indiana and Ohio State and Miami and programs like that this year too. It affects everyone. It's not just us being a stepping stone. This is just how the sport is now.
Yeah. Do you think Fernando Mendoza's little brother wants to come to Wyoming?
That would be amazing.
It would be, but that would, it would never happen. But he looks like he's going to be like the second coming of his brother, and that's kind of cool.
Is he at Indiana as well now? Or?
Mm-hmm.
Okay. The other point I was going to make, I forget.
He played the other day. He played in the game on Friday or Saturday, whatever day it was.
Gotcha. Yeah. So, no, here's the point I was going to make, right? So the portal's a great thing because it gave us the opportunity to fix the defense in one off season. And now we're going to have the opportunity to fix the offense in one off season. So without the portal, Wyoming would be in far worse shape than they are now.
My biggest portal prediction is we're not going to see anybody leave on the defensive side that wasn't a significant contributor. So like, a guy like Dash Bauman, who we keep hearing is like he's the second coming of Chad Muma. He hasn't seen the field. So a guy like that, I could see him transferring.
Yeah, playing time.
If you're playing a lot on a top 25 defense, you're going to keep playing on a defense that's just going to get better.
Mm-hmm.
And scouts will still find you.
Yes. Especially on defense. We've proven that for sure. So, yeah. So we'll see, and we'll break it down. I started looking at the roster and who's leaving, and we can kind of break that down on like what types of players they'll be looking for in the portal and at what positions to replace exactly who. So that'll be some talk we could have in the next couple of weeks. As we enjoy the basketball team, again, Dartmouth on Saturday. And then I think the 2 Dakota schools are the following week. If I remember.
Yeah,
correctly.
South Dakota's at home. South Dakota State is in Spearfish, I think.
Yeah.
Or Sioux Falls. It's in Sioux Falls.
There we go. Yeah.
Another random. Oh, they're playing at the Pentagon, aren't they?
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
The Pentagon's cool. They're playing a lot of neutral site games there for college basketball, which is interesting.
It's a great arena.
Mm-hmm.
Not a hell of a lot else in Sioux Falls, though.
True. Say 2 main things to end with here. Number 1, donate to the Cowboy Joe Club. Donate to the Cowboy Joe Club. That is where NIL money goes. That's who pays the players. If you want a better football team, throw some money at Cowboy Joe so that they can throw some money to bring players in. we are way behind the other schools in the Mountain West. And we don't have a, Maury Brown that's going to come out of the woodwork anymore and just, throw 6-7 figures at the school. So we're going to have to do it $100 at a time. Give money to Cowboy Joe. Number 2, get your ass to the AA. These guys are worth watching. Tickets are cheap. And when that gym is full, like all of us remember back in the Steve McLean days, when that gym is full, it is fun as hell.
Definitely had a few nights there that I remember.
That's true, Austin.
Yep.
More than anything, Austin, we need to retain Sundance Wicks. Luckily, he's a Wyoming guy, and it would be awfully hard to pry him away. But
you would have to be like a blue blood. But yeah, to get back to your point, and then we'll wrap up here. But I remember in the stupid days of Big Monday, right, where we'd have a 10 p.m. freaking tip off. We'd have bigger crowds. That place would be not full. Maybe one. I think we played Utah one year, and it might have been like 10,000 people. But we used to get way bigger crowds than we're getting now for 10 p.m. tip-offs.
The kids nowadays.
I don't know about you, Chad, but I had freaking labs at 8 a.m. on Tuesday. I hated Big Monday games.
Yeah, dumbass does that.
The dumbass that was 18 and didn't know how to make a schedule yet.
Yeah. Well, you all learn, right? We all learn after that first semester or two where we're like,
9 a.m. is the minimum. Everybody knows that.
I had an 8 a.m. mat class that I basically didn't show up to for like 3 months.
Oof. That's tough.
Yeah. And that's how I learned my lesson. Thankfully, I still passed, but yeah, an 8 a.m. And it was I think it was like a Monday too. Monday morning. Really dumb. Really dumb. So
you know what I miss most about college though was like the 10 p.m. dinner over at the upperclassmen dorm.
Sure you did, Brad. Yeah.
You didn't partake in that?
No.
Oh. Like, because Washakie would do their dinner at 5, 6 o'clock. But then they would do the late night dinner over at the upperclassmen dorms. I don't remember what they're called off the top of my head.
Oh, Whitehall, that one.
No, Whitehall was for underclassmen like us. These were at the opposite end of the dorms.
Yeah, I know.
Yeah. I know the one.
I didn't know they had food chow there.
Dude, they had
used to do like the late night snack that went from 10 to midnight.
Yeah, I went to Washakie to the late night snack.
Oh no, we went to the one at the upperclassmen dorm because Washakie was under construction.
Or I had like money loaded in my card to go to in the Union, right? The Poke Cellar or whatever the hell it was called. They had pizza and stuff at like midnight too. So
or getting Hot Pockets out of the vending machine in the dorms.
Oof, that's a dicey proposition. But yeah, we'd skip like regular dinner at Washakie and go to the other one and grab dinner there after playing GoldenEye for a while.
All right.
You weren't as cool as us, Chad. We get it.
Apparently.
You guys had to be to band practice or something.
It's true.
Hey, man, there's no more fun times than band camp. Ask any band kid. It gets fun.
Yeah. All right, boys and girls. Well, thank you for joining us for this roundup, talking some football and some basketball. Shay will be back with us next week, and we'll talk about wrestling as what they're in. Are they in Vegas again, right? For some wrestling this weekend?
They're at the Cliff Keen Duels this weekend in Vegas. Yeah. So be a good little test for the team. See some talent from all over the country, and a few guys they might see later on in the postseason. So
there we go. So yeah, so we'll be back next week, and I'm sure between now and then there'll be all kinds of news to talk about. So until then, everybody take care, and we'll see you all soon on the WyoNation Roundup.
Go Pokes.